Hello and Sunny Bonani! We are here at the Marina Bay Street Circuit out here in Singapore, and we are all set and ready for Tier 1 of Brakeaway F1 racing. My name is Bob O'Connor. I will be with you on commentary here tonight. And as you can see, with around 15 drivers having confirmed and taken the places in the paddock, ready to assume their place on the grid, we look forward to what is set to be a fantastic race out here at the Marina Bay Street Circuit. Yes, we cannot wait to get underway here. My name is Bob O'Connor, and this is the top tier of Breakaway F1. It is a South African esports league, Formula One gaming league on the PlayStation platform. And what we can guarantee is some fantastic racing. Now, the very notion of it being a Tier 1 race indeed implies that these are our premier drivers in Breakaway. We have 3 tiers of drivers here, and this race is, of course, the top tier. We have top tier racing on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then our Tier 2 drivers and Tier 3 drivers race on Mondays and Wednesdays. Yesterday was another night of drama as Tier 2 and Tier 3 completed this very circuit. So you can be sure that we can look forward to an action-packed evening of racing here on Breakaway F1. If you're new here, welcome. We guarantee entertainment. We guarantee fantastic racing, as the likes of Man Ray joins, as you can pretty much see on your screen there. S. Buddha is here for Aston Martin. Selby in the Alpha Tauri is here. Seaclay, the current championship leader in the Ferrari seat, is here. Tindo is looking to really start to rack up some points. It's been a difficult start for Tindo, but he is here, and he is ready and absolutely set to put on an absolute scorcher. Zotal and Kapoza and the Red Bull are here. Josh Damnesia and the McLaren has not had the best start to this season, and he's been struggling to match his brilliant qualifying with good performance. Mello the Mello is fighting to be among the championship contenders in that Mercedes, as is Romeo Massigo, who's found some insane pace in the offseason. Titus is here, a former champion. Lungs, who won the most recent race, is here. Van Kobe is here. Seppo Temba and Debo Mpundo in the Aston Martin. And, of course, Man Ray, as I just mentioned a couple of seconds ago. As you can see at the top of your screen, we have less than 30 seconds before this qualifying session goes. And this being Tier 1 of Breakaway F1, we have a full qualifying session. That means 3 sessions of qualifying, Q1, Q2, and Q3, to weed out 5 drivers each time before we have that top 10 shootout in Q3. So how will it go? How will the weather be? All of that will play a factor here in Singapore. We will have 31 laps of racing, as you can see on your screen here. Well, if you're getting knocked out in Q1, you have some time to wait. Make a cup of tea or whatever you do in that paddock, in that garage. You will have a long time to wait for Q2 and Q3 to get underway before we can start this race. Yes, a very good looking, nice and full grid. Welcome to you if you just joined us. This is Tier 1 racing of Breakaway F1 out here in Singapore. The Marina Bay Street Circuit, one of the most challenging for all these drivers. As you can see, the night sky out in Singapore, but we will be qualifying before we get this race well and going underway. It is our top tier drivers. We cannot wait. As you can see, we now have just about 15 seconds before this first qualifying session gets underway. And, well, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Welcome to Singapore! Breakaway F1. All right, I just want to take you through the championship and constructor standings as things stand. We'll start off with the Constructors Championship. Alpine currently leads the Constructors Championship. Lungs and Seppo Temba have been doing fantastic. Would you look at that as we are getting set and ready for Q1 to begin? It is inclement weather. It's going to be rainy weather. That complicates the situation And that gives these drivers a lot to think about as far as the setup and tweaking things is concerned. We'll be watching all of them pretty closely here as we wait for the first of the drivers to go on their outlap. Tapiso, superstar Tier 2 driver for Team Alfa Romeo, joins me in the comment section. Tapiso, how is it going?
I'm good, man, Tyson. How are you?
I'm fantastic. It's great to have you here. Looking forward to your insights. Looking forward to your views as we see exactly how this Singapore Grand Prix will pan out. You were part of a race that was not eventful weather-wise. So, yeah, let me know what your thoughts are and the kind of challenges that these drivers are going to have to face in this sort of weather to qualify. We seem to have lost Tapiso. He's having some technical issues, but something we have not lost is the beginning of this qualifying session. This is Man Ray. He is in the Ferrari seat, and as you can see, he was one of the first to come out. I just want to make sure that you have all the information that you would want here, as we're about to see, all of this information as far as Man Ray is concerned. Of course, he's out in the Ferrari. He's currently sitting 16th in the championship, is Man Ray, only 2 points. As we are on race 4 in the Tier 1 championship. It is slippery conditions. He's got those set of intermediate tires, and that is a detail that I'm going to put on the screen for you. And he's one of the first to come out on an outlap, as are the McLarens of Damnesia, that being Josh and Romeo Massengo. Tapiso, we seem to have got you back on the line. It is not the easiest track, and now it's not the easiest weather. The challenge is to get through Q1.
Yeah, and I hope it actually stays like this because it can be a bit more challenging. They need to give us a fight that's worth watching.
A fight that's worth watching. Yeah, of course, this is one of the most challenging, technically demanding tracks in dry conditions yesterday. From a personal perspective, how on earth, which sections of this track, what was crucial for you working your way up to the podium yesterday?
It is all of them, Tyson. All of them. You think you have the grip, and then you don't. So every time you turn, you need to watch yourself not to press on the accelerator too hard. There's also braking zones. There's also corners that you need to clip to make more time. So it's actually quite a technical track. So it's going to be a busy one for these guys today.
100%. And Tapiso, from a racer's perspective, could you just take us through what you're seeing as far as Man Ray's qualifying lap is concerned?
Man Ray actually almost lost it there. But he seems to be going straight. Well, he is going straight side. It's my first time commentating, so there's going to be a loss here and there. But this corner is one that should be taking slow. And he does that perfectly. Let's see how he does on the next one. And Man Ray, we've been noticing that Man Ray has been crashing out a lot. So it's going to be interesting to see if he pans out. If the whole thing plays out to Sikhle's advantage as well.
Yeah.
Sikhle needs the support.
He definitely does. Sikhle has been vocal. Of course, the defending champion. He has been quite vocal about wanting a partner that can also step up and contribute to the points from time to time. So it is a little bit of pressure for Man Ray, but we have seen through the playoffs that this is a driver who has what it takes in the right kind of situations to actually step up to the plate. So it's a lot of pressure here in the Tier 1 for Man Ray, but he has earned his spot. He deserves his spot. And right now he takes this slowest corner in Sector 2.
One of the most dangerous ones as well.
Yeah, and is the danger particularly going wide and hitting the wall? What exactly makes that particular corner challenging from your perspective?
The thing is, when you're pushing the car, you need to be tight around those corners. So with all the combination of the braking and the accelerating and the turning, so you just need to be a bit careful there, especially right now. You see he just lost control.
Yeah.
He just lost control, and it's because of the traction. So sometimes it actually does help to bring the traction control on, but for pace's sake, I think they must stay off if they can control the car also.
If they can control car, absolutely. So you gotta go. You gotta be careful with how much you apply the throttle, and of course you gotta be thinking about traction and grip in these conditions. It is not easy at all. Man Ray is the first driver to set a time, and the gauntlet is 2 minutes 2:02. But then that falls as Mfundo sets a 1:56.3. But we know the McLarens are also out on track. Let's see how Romeo fares along. Oh, and he kind of slips and slides over there. Ah, man, he might have lost the wing, could Romeo. So, yeah, it looks like that might be. Yeah, he crashed, so it looks like it might be an abandoned attempt.
And Sikhi with the fast lap there.
Meanwhile, Lungs has spun in Sector 2. He is then going to have to make another attempt. As you see, he's abandoning that particular hot lap attempt. Let's see how Selby fares now, as we're about to check in with the rest of the grid. He's making his way through Sector 3 is Selby. Currently around the 1.5 minute mark. Looks to have been a clean attempt from him so far. Of course, the time to beat is 1:55.1, the time set by Cifre in the Ferrari. So quite a long way to go for Selby to make it to that finish line. He comes through, goes through that tunnel quite cleanly to Selby. He's not one to take unnecessary risks. He's driving for AlphaTauri this year. Is Selby a solid Tier 1 driver? Will it be a solid lap as he makes his way through the final sector? Final corner, he takes it. No slipping and sliding from him. What kind of time will it be? It is a 2-minute flat. 2 minutes and 0.239 seconds there from Selby. Now, the grid currently as it stands, this man, Ciclay, championship leader, has set a 1:55.1. Looks like he's on a second hot lap attempt, and he's just gone purple through the second sector, has Ciclay, so we'll stay with him. Titus is currently in P2, the former champion, fighting back, looking to earn his title back. Teppo Temba, who has been having a fantastic season for Alpine, the Constructors' Championship leaders, he's in P3, and Thunder currently sits in P4, but let's take a closer look at Ciclay and what it looks like from his perspective as he comes through the third sector. Takes it nice and easy. Those curves can be unforgiving. Oh, a little bit of a slide there. But in these conditions, it is not surprising. He had a purple sector. Can he improve on the time that he had set? Yes, he can. He goes to 1:54.165, does Ciclay. So still the man to beat. Still the absolute best time that he could possibly put on. Ooh, as we see Teppo Temba really crashing. I'm not sure if he's lost the wing. We'll take a closer look. His front right kind of hit the tunnel there. Oh, and he kisses the wall. He might come straight into the pit lane, and yes, he does. Ooh, completely misses the pit entry. There is zero grip in these conditions, so it's not too surprising. So he's back in the pits. This man, Van Kobe, is also back in the pits, having set a 1:56.419. Zotile is currently in P6. But as things stand, he's definitely going significantly faster as he makes his way through the beginning of this first sector. Estalo in the comments, welcome. We see you. He says, Tier 1, let's go. Absolutely, let us go indeed. Now, well, we're going to see exactly how this wet qualifying session affects the start of the grid. But how crucial to Piso is track position on a track like this?
It's very crucial because if you can get away from the jump, then you can just fly. You can just leave the rest of the guys behind. And interesting to note, Zotila is number 7. So if he sticks to this position currently, it'll be his first time going through to Q2.
Man, yeah. So it hasn't been the easiest to start. I know in the previous race, he couldn't even set a time, so you had to start from the back of the grid. So there's a lot of work for Zotile to do in the Rebel. Of course, we know what he's capable of. We saw him push Ciclay all the way down to the final race of last year. So he's really looking to get into a rhythm. Of course, he is driving using a racing wheel now, so it is an adjustment period somewhat. But once he finds his feet, I suppose, Tapiso, you expect him to be challenging once again.
I do, but today he has somewhat of a stomach bug, so he might just have a bit of an issue keeping up the pace if it still bothers him. So we'll just see how all of this pans out. And I know Melo's racing at his house as well, so you can only just imagine the screaming that's happening in that place right now.
Yeah, absolutely. We do wish him well. He is out here racing despite the way that he feels recently, and it looks like he's coming back into the pit lane. Meanwhile, let us see how Tindo fares. It definitely looks like it's this attempt is slower than his time of 1:57.385. Just 8 minutes left here. Tapiso, I want to hear from you in a situation like this, a difficult track, difficult weather conditions. What is your thinking? Do you try under fuel and go for as quick a lap as you possibly can, or do you fuel up for a couple of laps and then, just try and do a couple of consecutive laps?
So what I try to do is just fill up at least for 7 laps. So that gives me a range when I finish my first lap. Then I can just stock up on ERS in the next lap and then go at another lap again on a fast lap. So it's just a strategy of managing your tires as well. So if I finish my tires on this lap, then I at least have new fresher softs, fresher mediums as well. So it's just a play on your strategy in a sense.
Yeah, a lot to think about. And this man, the 86er, is just at a purple second sector on another hot lap attempt. He's currently P12 as things stand, so he does not want to be anywhere near that 15th place cutoff. So the 86er are looking to improve here. In the championship, he is on 10 points, and he sits, in P10 in the Drivers' Championship currently. So what can you do, 86er, in this final sector as you look to stare down that final turn into that start-finish straight? 86er eases up on the throttle as he sets a 156.3, about 1.6 seconds quicker than the previous time, but it's only good enough to put him in P11. So a lot of work to do and a lot of pressure. The drivers currently at risk of being kicked out here are this man, Mello the Mellow, who is looking to improve on his time. We'll stay with him. Selby Sango, Man Ray,
I'm sure
Kaposa, and
to
D-Wax.
hear that.
Yeah, well, their teammates, and they're going to look to be fighting among the front runners. A lot of pressure. So, from a technical perspecve, what changes as a driver for you to keep the car, number one, as much grip as possible and to try and go as fast as possible? What changes from a technical perspective in terms of the throttle, the steering inputs in these conditions?
So I know most of these guys are going to be running higher wings, so to get more straight line speed, but that also means losing control over the corners. So it's just a bit of delicacy here and there about how you enter the corners, how you break into the corners as well. I'm not sure about the overtaking they're going to be doing here. But I'm sure we're going to be having a spectacle of a race. These guys are going to keep us entertained. But it's just those minor things that you need to just be wary of. As when you're braking, it's not the normal braking zones as in the dry. So you just need to keep watch over those small things, your exit speed on the corner as well. Because we know that's too delicate. You can just spin out of the corner, especially in the wet. So it just depends. From my view, it seems like it's getting wetter and wetter. So I'm not sure if these guys are going to be going on the wets.
Yep. The conditions don't seem to be improving at all, but this man, Mello the Mellow, has set a purple second sector as he makes his way through the final sector. While we have lost S. Buddha in the Aston Martin, he is out. He could only set a 155.402, putting him in provisional P15, so S. Buddha is at risk, especially considering that this man, Mello the Mellow, is on the verge of improving on his time, and he does. He goes 2.8 seconds faster, puts him in P7, Mello the Mellow, knocking S. Buddha down. Well, he's still in P15 as things stand, luckily for him. So, the drivers at risk currently are Zotal in the Red Bull, Selby, Man Ray, and Kaposa, as well as D-Wax. And by the way, D-Wax joining means that we definitely have a full grid here in Tier 1. Attendance is always spectacular, and we cannot wait for this to go. Let's go, says Crash in the comments. The superstar Haas driver who's here to check out the scene and the scenario. Now let's see how Man Ray fares. Of course, under a lot of pressure from, Ferrari being Ferrari, and his teammate Seaflay, who is asking for as much support in the points as possible. Let's see how he does. From your perspective, take us through the rest of Man Ray's laps episode. Well, we seem to have lost that Piso here in the comment section, so we'll take a closer look. He comes through this third sector under a lot of pressure, just under 3 minutes and 15 seconds almost to go for Man Ray to set a quicker time than he has so far. He was biding his time, waiting for the track maybe to clear up a little bit before, sliding there. Slips and slides and loses a lot of time. Surely a couple of tenths lost there for Man Ray as he stares down that start to find. Can he improve out of the bottom five? No, he can't. He is still in 17th place he is still at risk of being knocked out of Q1 is Man Ray here. So he is quite likely going to go out on another attempt at really putting himself out of that bottom 5 and making it out here. Let's see how Ndebo fares in the half. Of course, Ndebo putting on a master class during the playoffs. We saw him. We know what kind of pace he has. We know what kind of precision he can deliver from time to time. So right now he is going to need to make sure that he is not at risk of being knocked out here of Q1. But it currently looks like he is definitely coming back to the pit. So we're going to catch up instead with this man, Kaboza, under pressure. The new driver as far as Tier 1 racing is concerned, driving for Red Bull, teamed up with Zotile. Both the Red Bulls are at risk of being knocked out. Both of the Red Bulls are in the bottom 5 here as things stand. A lot of pressure on Kaboza to make sure that he makes it out of this first qualifier cleanly as he makes his way through Sector 2, keeping it nice and careful as Kaboza. He's always very careful to make sure that he keeps things clean, that he does not make unnecessary mistakes, that he supports his teammate as much as possible. He comes through that very slow corner in Sector 2 as we're about to take a closer look to see what it looks like from his perspective. Spizoso is the second driver to retire in Q1, but he is well and truly, well, he had set a good enough time to go through to Q2, but sadly he's crashed out of the qualifying session as Spizoso. Quite slow through this through the chicane. Oh, it's Kaboza. He loses a little bit of grip there, and of course he comes through the tunnel. How's it going to be? He's careful not to kiss that wall. We've seen a couple of drivers, of course, hit those front right tires, but not Kaboza. Not in this case. He's going quite slowly, and of course the quickest time is a 1:53. He is quite a long way back from reaching that. He's rock bottom of the standings, but can he get out of Q1? Yes, he can. He plants that Red Bull in P9, does Kaboza. So he makes sure that he can wipe his brow in relief and make it out of this first qualifying session. Let's see how the Mercedes of Van Kobe fares. He is currently out in P16, but Van Kobe being Van Kobe, he puts a time 2.1 seconds quicker and plants that car in P3. He can breathe a sigh of relief in that Mercedes. Van Kobe is through to Q2. Well, what an effort. What an effort from Van Kobe. Safe into Q2 as his teammate Mello the Mellow. Who else is on an attempt to improve? Well, this man Tindo is safe as things stand, but he's slipping and sliding because Q1 officially, if you have not crossed that start-finish line, you cannot improve. The 86er is attempting to set another hot lap, but no, he has invalidated. Lungs has gone about 0.2 slower, and Lungs, as things stand, he's taken the checkered flag, is out of Q1. As things stand, Lungs is out. D-Wax is currently 0.3 quicker and wingless. He will be knocked out as it stands of Q1 as well as the 86er also retires. So as it stands, Lungs, D-Wax, and Debo, Zotal, and Man Ray could possibly be knocked out. But not exactly, says Zotal, because I am going 1 second quicker than my previous best time that I had set. Pressure. Zotal is under pressure. He's not been feeling well today, but this time is going well indeed. Ooh. He manages to keep it on track. He has not invalidated as Seaflay flexes on the grid with a 1:53.079. Fastest time after fastest time for Seaflay, but this man Zotal is under a heap of pressure in that Red Bull. He wants to join his teammate Kaboza, who is sitting snug in P11 currently, and to make it out of Q1. This is it. It is now or never. Zotal rock bottom in Q1, and he puts that car only good enough for P18. Zotal has been knocked out of Q1. That is one of the stories of the day. Zotal, Lungs, Man Ray, D-Wax, and Ndebo have as things stand, but knocked out and are not going through to Q2. What a result it is for Lungs, who is coming off a fantastic recent week of breakaway racing. From race winner to knocked out of Q1, unfortunately for Lungs. Drama at the Marina Bay Street Circuit out here. Man. Whew. It is absolutely dramatic. We look forward to the second qualifying session. Sapiso says Zotal is doing Zotal things. Oh, yes, we lost a couple of drivers to who retired in the session, just 3, that being Spizoso, Esbuda, and the 86er, but all 3 of them had managed to set good enough times to go through to Q2. Sequay set the fastest time in Q1, followed closely by Titus, and then Bankobi in P3. Selby, what a qualifying session it was from him, going P4, and then Spy Zozo was in P5. Mello the Mello managed to put that car in P6. Tepo Temba was quietly having a fantastic season of Breakaway Tier 1 racing, is in that 7th spot. Mfundo qualified 8th fastest, Lumpus was 10th, Damnesia and Romeo follow each other, Kaboza, then Tindo, and then of course Espuda and the 86er are the last two drivers to make it through to Q2. We cannot wait! You know who has been knocked out. Absolutely dramatic. Who do you expect to survive for the top 10 shootout? Let us know in the comment section. In just about 25 seconds, we will get our Q2 underway and see exactly how it all pans out. Out here at the Marina Bay Street Circuit in Singapore. Well, if you've just joined us, hello and Steady Bonani. This is Tier 1 of Breakaway F1, our premier drivers, and in 5 seconds, we will see how they will fare in the Q2 session. 5 drivers are out. Now, all those 5 drivers will have to sit and watch and wait for a very, very long time as Q2 and the top 10 shootout for pole position gets underway after that. Before we have 31 laps out here at the Marina Bay Street Circuit, we absolutely cannot wait. Well, Inati was saying Ekakumshi Utapisa, man. Utapisa was talking quite a bit, as Inati was remarking in the comment section. Inati, of course, being the championship leader in Tier 2. He's having a fantastic season. He is absolutely intent on reclaiming his spot right here among the premier drivers, and he's a fantastic driver, as we are seeing in Tier 2, and as we see in the comment section. Who will come out first? We have just, looks like 13 drivers here in Q2 that are going to be taking part. Well, they will want to be the ones to make it through to that top 10 shootout. Not sure exactly why Zotile is not here, because he had set a good enough time. Man Ray has left the session. What exactly is going on here? Well, we're going to get Q2 underway. One of the first drivers to come out, it looks like the McLaren of Romeo Masango, Mandla. And let's just make sure that you have all the details that you need here. Still not dry conditions. It does look like the rain has eased up a little bit. And we're going to watch Selby, actually. Was one of the first to come out onto the track. And see exactly how he fares. Selby Sago driving for AlphaTauri. Selby, as far as the championship is concerned, has only scored 1 point so far. So there's a lot of work to do for Selby in that AlphaTauri. Unfortunately, DWAX also could not make it through to this Q2. DWAX currently sitting on 4 points in the championship. So being one of the first to come out, this man, Selby, was one of the more consistent drivers out in Tier 1 last time out. As you can see, the racing line is quite clearly marked. The rain is definitely not falling as much as it was in Q1. So hopefully there's a little bit more grip, and those tires are singing a little bit more, and there's not much slipping and sliding and kissing up the walls. But knowing Selby, well, he'll put on a decent time, and he'll hope to be involved in that top 10 shootout. 3 sessions of qualifying in Breakaway F1 Tier 1 racing. What can you do, Selby? Well, Selby is out. Romeo is out. So is Mello and Tindo. And Mfundo and Seppo and Sikwe. Those are the drivers currently looking to be the first to set hot lap attempts. Here comes Selby through this final chicane. Of course, those curves can be unforgiving on this super technical track. Selby, what can you do? Let's take a closer look and see what it looks like from your perspective. Look how he goes on that throttle as he, of course, makes his way past the first start-finish straight into the first corner, and he's got to nail this corner into second gear. Goes Selby. Of course, grip is at a premium in such conditions on these intermediate tires. What can you do into this corner. He goes into third gear and he hits that throttle. This is a bit of a longer stretch of the track as Romeo racks up a 5-place grid penalty for a collision with Van Kobe before setting that time. Romeo is going to be livid and fuming at that. Now Romeo has to make it through to Q3. But we're watching Selby. We're on board with Selby through this second sector. Does Selby go? Of course, this will be one of the first times, meaning that Selby's time will be one of the times to beat for the rest of the guys that have already started their hot lap attempts. Here comes Selby now. He's got to slow it down through this right-hander to this mild section before a slow corner. This is one of the slowest corners of the track. This left-hander is careful not to go wide, and he hits that throttle. He only went through second gear through that super slow corner, and now again into a slow right-hander goes Selby. 1 minute 14 through the first two sectors, and him being the first, of course, it is purple, but he is under pressure from the super fast drivers that are following this hot lap attempt. Selby, what can you do as he inches closer towards the tunnel? We've seen this tunnel take some victims as far as those front left tires are concerned, but no such problem for Selby as he makes his way unscathed. And now he comes into this chicane, does Selby. No issues here. He's easy on the throttle. He does not want to take unnecessary risks. What kind of a time will you set, Selby? The first driver to set a time does a 1:54.017. Now this man, Madla, is slipping and sliding, and he is out in Q2. Madla crashes out in Q2. We have lost him, and Fundo sets a 1:55.9. Does Fundo. Let's see how the Mellow in the Mercedes fares through the third sector. He goes, eases onto the throttle, and good enough for P2. As things stand, that's a 1:55.093 for Mellow the Mellow. The times are trickling in. Teppo Temba goes quickest, 1:53.7. Goes Teppo Temba. Let's see how this man, Cikle, fares. He's making his way through the final sector. He's made his way unscathed through the tunnel. The only driver we've lost so far is Romeo, who also has to contend with a 5-place grid penalty for that collision with Van Kobe. Cikle Langa has seen what the fastest time is so far. What can he do on that start-finish straight? Of course, Cikle being Cikle, he sets a 1:53.081. The time to beat so far in Q2. Will he stay out and go for another attempt? Will he come into the pits and take it easy and chill a little bit? Well, we will see. Van Kobe had that collision with Romeo as Tindo crashes out of this first qualifying session. Van Kobe, what can you do? As a crash in the comment section says Teppo Temba is no talk. He's just a shambok on the track. He does his talking on the track, says Teppo Temba, already proving that he's one of the most consistent, one of the quickest, one of the top drivers out here in Tier 1. Of course, Teppo Temba and Lungs are the current Constructors' Championship leaders, and that is in no small part due to Teppo Temba's contribution. But this man, Van Kobe, who has been one of the protagonists as far as the race lead is concerned, he had that scrap, you'll remember, with Cikle in the first lap out in Austria. What can he do? Ooh, quite slow into the tunnel there as Van Kobe had a close shave with that right front tire, making his way through the tunnel. And of course, grip it is at such a premium out here as he makes his way now staring down that final corner. What can you do? He's definitely not going to be the quickest. 1:54, 55, 56 is only good enough for P12 for Van Kobe. And he's probably going to go for another hot lap attempt. Let's catch up with Damnesia. Romeo's teammate was now under pressure to be the best placed McLaren driver to get as high up this grid as he can. What can you do, Damnesia? Through the final corner, eases up on the throttle. Grip is at such a premium. He stays in P5, even though he had gone about half a second quicker, did Damnesia. This man, Mfundo, in that Aston Martin, is currently about 6/10 quicker than his previous time, as Cikle goes even faster, 1:53.026. These drivers will be well aware of the times that Cikle is clocking in as they're focusing on their own efforts, as is Mfundo here. We saw him set a scorcher of a qualifying time in Q1. He is looking to make sure that he is well and truly comfortable for that top 10 shootout for pole position in Q3. With just 7 minutes to go, Mfundo makes his way through the slow corner in this second sector as you see him adjusting, trying to reestablish that grip through the second sector. What can you do, Mfundo? Gotta slow it down and take it clean, nice and easy. Oof. Not much of a slide there, but you can see the racing line is quite clearly demarcated as the cars are clearing that water. He makes his way, a little bit of a slide there, but not enough to lose him too much time. He comes through the tunnel. He is unscathed. He did not damage that front right. Oh, he loses the rear end a little bit there, and he reestablishes his racing line through the third sector. He comes DRS enabled. That means the track will be drying up. And Mfundo needs no second invitation. He is going back into the pits, probably going to put on a set of slick tires, or maybe he's going to wait a little bit for the track to dry up even further before slapping on that set of slick tires. Let's see how this man, Titus, former champion, fighting to reclaim his crown. He's driving for Haas this year, is Titus, the absolutely fantastic driver. He's no stranger to doing the job in wet weather condition. He is no stranger to managing his tires. Has a little bit of sliding, that rear end kind of sliding as he makes his way out that tunnel into this slower section goes Titus. That'll definitely have lost him a couple of tenths. Will he come straight into the pits? No, he will carry on and try to set a time at the very least, will Titus. And what can you do? Quick enough for P3, 153.977 for Titus. With, of course, DRS being enabled, that means, of course, that the track is definitely drying up, but probably not drying up yet for those slick tires to come on. Damnesia, Josh! You had to slip down a little bit. Let's go on board with you. He's about 2/10 slower, is Josh. Definitely goes a little bit wide there. He's going to have to slow it down, and the driver that he is chasing is Spizoso. Van Kobe has yet to set a time, but already has those soft tires locked and loaded. But right now we are paying attention to what kind of a time can Josh set here. Can you improve on that P6 spot? He had gone about 2/10 slower through the previous sector, so definitely under pressure to improve and gain a couple of tenths in the final sector here. But he comes through that in first gear. He opens the DRS and absolutely crashes into the wall, invalidating his lap in the process. So Josh will probably come straight back into the pits. He does not risk losing his car completely, goes off into the runoff section, absolutely making sure that he keeps his car long enough to be able to put on a set of slick tires, and he will come back into the pits. Just 4 minutes to go in this Q2 session. Kaboza. Now, all the Kaboza has yet to set a time. Neither has Loveness, Bankobi, and Spizoso, as you have seen here. Tindo, before retiring, had set a 154.594. And as things stand, he is in P10. He is at risk of being knocked out here, as we will have just about 3.5 minutes of times, or rather of qualifying in these semi-dry conditions. Selby has invalidated his lap. Titus comes back into the pit lane to put on a pair of slick tires. He has just 3 minutes to make sure that those tires are on. So not a lot of time for that Haas team to make sure that he is able to set a time. Mfundo is on an out lap. Cinque has opted to stay in the pits. He has not come out as yet, even though they have put on a set of medium tires. He is out in the pits, so this man Mfundo will look to make sure that he is well and truly safe. And P8 is definitely still risky with the likes of Loveness and Van Kobe yet to set a time. Softs are a risk, says Crash in the comment section, notably talking about how the track is not completely dry as yet. Sure, it's drying out, but still a little bit of slipping and sliding out here on track. Mfundo is on an outlap, has opted to keep those set of intermediate tires. And, well, is it dry enough for slick tires? Will they have enough grip? Well, we have 2 minutes to see whether or not that will be the case. Now, Loveness has made his way is making his way through the first sector. I just want to see who is ahead. Well, this man, Ban Kobe, is slightly ahead of Loveness, so we'll catch up with Loveness in a second. In fact, we'll flip in between the two. Ban Kobe has yet to set a time. Let's hop on board this Mercedes and see exactly how he fares through the second sector. Came very close to nudging that wall on his left there. But Ban Kobe, being Ban Kobe, he does not go easy. He is absolutely one to go all out. And he is not scared of track limits, is Ban Kobe, as he opens that DRS. Of course, on these soft tires, what kind of a time can you set? The quickest is 153.026. And of course, many of those front-running drivers will also set their own fast lap attempts. Ban Kobe is currently in P13, but of course this is his first time setting a time. So what can you do here, Ban Kobe? Struggling a little bit for grip out of that corner. Into the final corner goes Ban Kobe. He will smash that time and set a 141.397. He has enough time. He did cross the start-finish line before time was up, so more than enough time to set another hot lap attempt. Loveness coming through the final section. Well, now, of course, this will be his first attempt. Seemingly, he might have invalidated that hot lap attempt. So let us, in fact, see exactly how Loveness fares here in his first attempt at setting a time, of course, under pressure with about 25 seconds to go. If you have not crossed that start-finish line, I'm talking to you, Titus, I'm talking to you, Damnesia. You have 17 seconds to cross that start-finish line and begin your hot lap attempt. This man, Loveness, has not set a time. He knows what he needs to do. All these, ooh, he kisses the wall. What does that do to his wing there? Loveness, what does that do to that wing damage? I don't see too much wing damage. It might have just been tapping that wall with his wheel. But it doesn't look like he's lost any semblance of downforce here. He is absolutely sending it through the second sector. Good lap from Ban Kobe, says Dini in the comment section. We absolutely agree. It is the new gauntlet that he had laid down on a pair of soft tires at Tepo Temba. Eclipses that with a 140.1. But Loveness, you have yet to set a time. What can you do out here in Singapore? At the Marina Bay Street Circuit comes Loveness. He is now going to make his way through the tunnel. We've seen this tunnel take its fair share of victims, but not Loveness, not me, says Loveness, as he makes his way through this final sector as Seaclay smashes Tepo Temba's time by about 2 seconds. On a set of medium compound tires does Seaclay go. Loveness, what can you do? Good enough for P5, secures his spot in that top 10 shootout for pole position. And as things stand, Damnesia has yet to take the checkered flag, but Titus and Caboza are definitely ahead of him in the pecking order, so he doesn't need to worry about them. Spizoso is out, Mfundo is out, Romeo is out. So as it stands, Titus sets the fastest time with a 137.945 for the Haas driver, as you see that fuel supply lap flashing. So Spizoso was out, Mfundo was out, and Romeo is out. Your top 10 shootout drivers are Titus, Seaclay, Damnesia is P3. Tepo Temba has had a decent day of qualifying so far, P4. Ban Kobe on those set of soft tires set a time good enough for P5. Melo the Mello, teammate in P6. Loveness set the 7th best time. Caboza set the 8th best, followed by Selby and Tindo. Those are your drivers in the top 10 shootout. Tindo and Selby, what an effort on intermediate tires, as you hear the bubbling sound indicating that man Bongs is now in the commentary box. Titus.
What do you say, Bubble Connor?
Bob and Bongs, it is absolutely fantastic to have you. How are you feeling? You have seen our top 10 drivers to take place in that Q3 shootout. How are you feeling about that?
I am so excited for this race, and I'm actually just really, really keen to see who's going to be getting the top 3 in Q3. I actually want to ask the viewers who are currently watching, who do they think will be getting top 3?
Yep, let us know in the comment section. You have seen your top 10 drivers. There they are on your screen. Tindo, by the skin of his teeth, He set that time in intermediates before cashing out, but he is in this top 10 shootout. He made it into the top 10. Who will be the top 3? You've seen Titus lay down the gauntlet, Seekley lay down the gauntlet, Damnesia, Tepa, Bankobi, Mello, Loveness, Kaposa, Selby is there. Man. Let's see what's happening in the comment section. Spello says, Seekley, Infana, and Gayk. Well, that means I cannot believe it in South Africans from Estella in the comment section. Seekley, Bankobi, and Titus says Tapiso in the comment section. Bongs, you have raced along these guys. You know these guys. You know what they can do. What are you expecting from Q3?
So what I'm expecting from Q3 is definitely P1 will be Sihle. P2 could either be Bangobi or... Oh, this might be a bit tight. Between Bangobi and... I think I'm going to go for Titus. I've got a feeling that Titus has an ace up his sleeve in Q3. I was watching a bit of his onboard footage now, just as I was preparing myself to join the stream. And it did look like he was running a bit of like a heavy fuel setup.
Yeah.
So very keen to see what lap time he's going to put on board.
As are we. Welcome to all of you. If you've just joined us, you're in time for the top 10 shootout. The race, the race for pole, actually. The sprint for pole, if you will. These drivers are going to be trying to set the best time they can. We have a full grid of Tier 1 racing out here at the Marina Bay Street Circuit. It is Bob and Bongs in commentary. Bongs, of course, being the superstar AlphaTauri driver out in Tier 2, putting on some very, very interesting laps and interesting races, interesting start to the season he's had so far. Bongs, you raced here yesterday. It looks like it's dry. From a driver's perspective, what exactly do you? What exactly is particularly challenging about this track?
I think it's like a multi-dimensional answer, because what you have is a track that was wet during the early qualifying sessions. And what that, of course, does is that now you have a green track, and a green track meaning that there isn't rubber laid on the track, so the track surface isn't really that fast. What you also have is a very cool track temperature, so we might actually see drivers getting their fastest laps on probably their second or even their third lap on the same set of tires. So very interesting, very challenging as well. You know, you just have to find the right limits, because you can't push the limits, as I mentioned, because the track is still green.
Yep, the track is still green. Now, when you're talking about the track getting rubbered in, from a technical perspective, what does that mean in terms of grip and how you perform as, the qualifying session goes on?
So with every single lap that each car does around the track, in all the corners, the braking zones, coming out of the corner, so the corner exits effectively, what you have is you're laying down the rubber. The tire temperatures average between around 85 and 95 degrees Celsius. So, I mean, you could cook an egg on it if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And so what that lands up happening is the tires just land up leaving rubber on the track. So the more rubber there is on the track, the more grip each driver following from behind actually has.
Absolutely, which means potentially, if you come out a little later than most of the drivers, you could take advantage of that extra grip. But of course, if something happens, then it is, a high-risk, high-reward strategy if you choose to come out later, so.
Exactly. However, as you mentioned, high risk, high reward. However, there is another element with the high risk, and that is timing your last lap just a fraction too late and not making it across the checkered flag just in time to actually set a lap.
Yeah. So those are the potential risks. This man, Seekley, in the Ferrari, is the first driver out on his hot lap attempt. He is the championship leader, and he has just crossed the start-finish line to make his first attempt and set the gauntlet, lay down the gauntlet, and put everybody else under pressure, and really set down his marker for that pole position spot. Now, you've been teammates with this man, Seekley. You've had, I suppose, a closer view in terms of how he thinks, how he works. What is his thinking as far as qualifying is? Of course, we've seen how aggressive he is, but is it just a matter of, I suppose, building gradually, or is he just going so aggressive that from the outset he's just looking, to be the fastest man?
So one thing about Seekley, which I really admire, but when I was his teammate, I really, really didn't enjoy, is that I nicknamed him the teammate killer.
Yeah.
Sifa just has this natural ability to find every single centimeter of grip throughout the track and just manages to extract the absolute maximum from the car. What you find with Sifa is that he could set arguably the fastest lap on his first lap. However, he's still not at his limit.
Yeah.
And what we see right now is that he's actually just invalidated.
Yeah.
Slightly wide.
Yeah.
Commentators curse, as they say.
As they say, yeah. We'll come back to Sikle in a second, as Van Kobe is currently on his hot lap attempt. Of course, he's not aware that Sikle hasn't validated, so he's currently just focusing on his own race as he comes through this right-hander. Now, let's take us through exactly section by section of this track from Van Kobe's perspective, Bangs.
So right now you have Ben Kobe through halfway through the third sector right now. And you got to get down. You just got to make sure you get enough traction out here, no wheel spin, and then pulling into the next right-hander. Make sure you line your car perfectly, just so you can slingshot left. When he makes a mistake.
And he manages to somehow hang on to it. If he has enough fuel, he'll be going for another attempt at a hot lap. Meanwhile, Tsepo Temba, what a season he's having. He's currently set the fastest time of a 137.4, followed by Mello the Mellow, 137.8. The times are slowly trickling in here. And we will now see how Kaboza fares in the Red Bull. Of course, his teammate Zotal knocked out earlier. Zotal not having the greatest of day. We do wish him well. He's not feeling 100%. But of course, he does have a solid teammate in the form of Kaboza, who is making his way through this third sector, the final corner. He is really not taking any chances, not easing up on the throttle. Goes P4 with a 139.139. So my question to you in the comment section, what kind of a time will you set? And Crash answers my question preemptively. He says Sika will set a low 136. Number one, Bongs, do you agree with that? And what do you think will be good enough for, to be among the front row starters here on this track?
I think being part of the front row starters here, you need to be setting or targeting at least a low 137. However, my money is on Sihle to actually set a 137 flat.
Right. A 137 flat is Bongs' prediction, as Sihle was in the pit lane. He's currently on an out lap, but let's see how this man, Titus, fares. Now, Now, Titus, of course, is a recent champion. Oh, struggled a little bit there. It looks like he's definitely abandoning this hot lap attempt. So instead, we will catch up with Loveness here. Now, give us some intel on Loveness. We've seen him take the race win out in Russia. We've seen some incredible strides that he's made in the past couple of off seasons. And right now, he's definitely someone to worry about on track. Take us through his particular driving style and what kind of a threat he poses as a competitor.
So Loveness, when he joined the league, arguably used to be one of the dirtiest drivers. And I say that so confidently because he has improved far beyond what I ever expected him to. In a very short space of time. I think it was maybe a matter of like 4 races in between seasons, where Loveness went from being one of the dirtiest to one of the cleanest. I like to refer to him as a silent assassin.
Yeah.
He did join a lot of our off-season friendly races. However, in the background, Loveness was practicing a lot. Whether he was joining other online lobbies or even just racing against AI. I like to think he was racing against a really difficult AI because his driving style has just become so clean, and you only get that level of cleanliness when racing against the AI.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely incredible the progress that Loveness has made. We'll come back to him. Van Kobe is currently sitting in P7. He is looking to nudge and inch his way up this field here. Of course, his teammate, Mello the Mellow, is currently in P2, having locked that second spot on the grid. 4 minutes to go. In the comments section, Luddy says, softs are not durable here in Singapore. I wonder what their strategies are. What exactly is it about this track? As we see, Seaplay has set a purple first sector. What is it? Yeah, what is it about this track particularly that is not so kind on the tires, as Luddy is noting there?
So what's just happening right now is because the track is green. So every time a driver turns, they're going to be laying down rubber instead of driving on top of another driver's rubber. And what that's going to, of course, happen is that it's going to lead to high tire degradation. And with that being said, you also have the Yas Marina circuit being based on a street circuit. So, I mean, the street circuit, throughout the year, you have a bunch of different cars, different trucks, different vehicles, all traveling on it and just beating that road up. And yeah, it just makes the surface very abrasive for the tires.
Yep, unforgiving for the tires on top of the technically demanding turns that the drivers have to navigate and think about as Sifley comes through this third sector here. He had set a purple sector 1. He did set a purple second sector. And what can he do? Well, he does what he does by going quicker.
By 1 second.
1 second quicker than Titus, who has crashed out of Q3, having set a time good enough for P2. Yellow flags in sectors 2 and 3. Yellow flags throughout the entire track, it seems. So, yeah, absolutely incredible effort from Sifley there. Sifley is crazy, says Tapiso in the comments. I called it, says Crash, who did predict that Sifley would breach into the 1 minute 36, into the 1 minute 36 this year. Josh, Damnesia, is scrambling for his life, trying to cross that start-finish line in time to be able to set another hot lap. Of course, you have seen he has invalidated his previous attempt. He's on this out lap, as is Loveness, Kaposa, and Van Kobe, who did dip back into the pit lane. But let's see if this man, Josh, Damnesia, will be able to watch it. If you've just joined us, well, welcome. This is the final part of Q3 qualifying. Just a minute and 45 seconds to go before the checkered flag is waved and we have our grid set. Hectic, says Danny M in the comments. Absolutely insane time that Sifley has set. And Sifley being Sifley, he might just come back into the pits, or he might just carry on and slam that foot even harder to solidify his spot here. So there's a scramble.
And we have the Mellow sitting a 136.7 and putting himself on the front row comfortably.
Comfortably in the front row, 136.7 for Mellow the Mellow. A gargantuan effort here from him.
Damnesia invalidates as he crosses the start-finish line.
He will not be able to improve on that time. Won't make it back to the start-finish line in time. Damnesia currently hoping that Loveness and Van Kobe and this man, Selby, do not set quicker times than him. Well, Selby is coming back into the pits. He might have incurred damage there. But
as well as Loveness.
Yeah, Loveness also coming back into the pits. That means Mellow the Mellow, Kaboza, and Van Kobe are the three drivers. Just want to see how far Van Kobe is. Oh, he's going so much slower. 7. Oh, no. He's making his way through Sector 1 here. Let's see what this man Van Kobe can do. He is under pressure to get closer and closer to his teammate Mellow the Mellow. Malusi the Malusi in that Mercedes, currently sitting in P2 comfortably. But what can he do here? Bonds, you've spoken a little bit about the kind of pressure that these tires are under on a green track in qualifying. But what does that translate to as far as race conditions are concerned? And on a track like this, how far do you see these soft tires going?
I think it all just depends on the pace set by the race leader. That will determine everything, of course. If Sifley is just going to be driving like a bat out of hell, then, I mean, what we'll possibly see is a two-stop race, provided that there is no safety car. We could see a two-stop race, as previously mentioned, because the track surface is just so abrasive.
Yeah, and Van Kobe did set a purple second sector, making his way now through the third. Oh, very careful. Snap of
he's been struggling with that corner the whole of quality.
Absolutely, he's been struggling, losing a couple of attempts, but good enough for P5 as things stand. So not quite as snug and close to his teammate as he would have wanted to be, but good enough for P5 is Van Kobe. Kaposa, what can you do? He is currently 4 attempts quicker than the time that he had set. This is now or never, do or die as far as making his way as as high up this grid as possible for Kaboza. He is Red Bull's hope of a best possible start as far up the grid as he possibly can be, is Kaboza. P9 currently, close shave there as he made his way into the tunnel. And as he comes through this chicane, which Van Kobe had struggled with, almost kisses the walls as Kaboza there. Let's go, Kabisi, says Crash in the comments section. Looks like he's out of fuel.
He's out of it. Yeah, he's out of fuel.
Man. And
worst time to be out of fuel.
Absolute worst. So that is Kaboza, the last of these drivers to make his way. And your grid. It is Seatley in pole position. Mello the Mello in Mercedes, P2. And Titus in P3. Three absolutely stunningly fast drivers, your top three. Also in the second row is Teppo Temba in the Alpine, flying the blue flag high and representing that team. What a start it's been for them. Van Kobe is in P5. Josh Damnesia from McLaren will start off in 6th place. Selby Sango in 7th. Loveness is in 8th place. Kaboza in 9th. And as you saw at the end of Q2, Tindo will start in P10. Petrol is expensive, laments Kid K in the comments section. What are your expectations for the first corner for the end of the first lap? Who is taking this race? Let us know in the comment section. Van Kobe was sending it. That was Inati's comments. Last chance for Van Kobe. Remark Escalo in the comment section. Dini says, Mello tends to drop off during the race. Yeah, we've seen Mello have some bad luck there, as Kaboza confirms in the comment section. Kaboza multitasking. He's literally sitting in the cockpit in the paddock while texting the YouTube comment section. Absolutely confident is Kaboza there. Bongs, what do you expect from the start, from the race start, and indeed the race itself?
I think going into the first corner, we're going to have Sihle just running away with it. He doesn't have Banobi next to him, because we know Banobi has like the strongest starts in Tier 1 currently. And I see Mello having a strong start as well. But yeah, as we all know, Mello tends to drop off during the race. Maybe it's just a lack of concentration. Maybe it's just fatigue that sets in. And as we also know tonight that Mello is not actually racing in the comfort of his own place. He is racing at Zotal's place. And it seems he has the luck tonight because Zotal's actually not within the top 10. In fact, actually, has he even qualified above the top 10 throughout the season?
We will double check that as this race gets underway. Romeo has earned a drive-through penalty for a jump start. As you predicted, Cisley goes through cleanly. Mello the Mello making sure that he hangs on to that P2 spot. Van Kobe has fought his way seemingly, but is still in P5 as things stand. Mello the Mello half a second behind Cisley, followed closely by Josh Damnesia. What a start. He has fought his way. He's currently sitting in P3 as things stand. Teppo Temba in that Alpine in P4.
And
Van
we have
Kobe,
a virtual
P5.
safety.
Virtual safety car. What a start, Bongs!
I'm at a loss for words. Like, Banglobi had like such a great start. He was up to P3, but of course, Josh Damnesia and Teppo Temba were busy battling, and they took it real deep into the first corner. So Banglobi played it smart. He decided, let's just keep it clean. Let's think of the long term. Let's not think short term gains.
Let's not think short term gains. And in that melee, Titus has lost 3 places. Mello the Mello managed to hang on to his second spot. Josh Damnesia absolutely elbowed his way through this grid here to find himself in P3 before the end of the first lap. Teppo Temba has maintained in P4, as has Van Kobe in 5th place. So Titus is currently lamenting that race start. He finds himself in 6th place. Kaboza, what a start from him. From P9 up to P7. Spizoso gaining 3 places. Another super aggressive driver who takes no prisoners and takes no chances as far as fighting his way up the grid is concerned. Loveness currently sits in 9th place as the virtual safety car has ended, meaning that this battle for the race lead has resumed, and Mello the Mello maintaining it at just about half a second, give or take a tenth at the moment. And Josh Damnesia in P3 as things stand. Seatley is no stranger to being put under pressure at race restarts, sets a 154.1 bombs. Absolutely clinical start from Seatley.
And the thing that's really shocking me about Seatley's starts is that he's on the mediums. Everybody else is on the soft tires, so he could even go longer into the race. So what you could actually even find is that if we do have a safety car after the first round of pit stops, Seatley could just box under the safety car and maintain P1. It could be a lights to flag victory.
It could be, absolutely. As Romeo is in the pits in P19, serving that drive-through penalty. Lungs having a nightmare of a day. Of course, also had to come into the pits as we see Mello has currently set the purple first sector on that set of soft tires. So he knows he's got a job on his hands to catch up to the medium running C-Clay. But I suppose Mello, having chosen a set of soft tires, is prioritizing track position and making sure that he does not lose too much ground. That is why he went for the set of soft tires. But C-Clay definitely has the advantage at the moment, Bounds.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and this is what I mentioned about like C-Clay. Like, he just uses every single centimeter of the track and he just finds grip when nobody else is able to find grip. So, I mean, you always find him on the alternate strategy, on the strategy that looks like, you know, you're trying to actually just lose this race. As we see Mello the Mello pushing the car slightly hard there.
Yep.
And what actually I've noticed this with Mello. At certain points when he's chasing down a driver, it always looks like he's just trying to slightly overdrive the car. And it seems to work for him early on in the race, but I mean, his tires always land up dropping off sooner than everybody else's.
Yep, so a lot to think about there as Teppo Temba and Bankobi are having a scrap for the ages here.
And Temba has some damage.
He took some damage, yes, and he has come into the pits as Tapiso was lamenting in the comment section there. But Teppo Temba finds himself in P3 currently and has the fight of his life, in his hands from this man, Bankobi, who is currently on about 80% of his battery. As you can see, the gap is now 4/10 between these two. We're going to watch this battle closely to see if this Mercedes driver can manage to take advantage and somehow overcome this Alpine of Teppo Temba that is currently in P3. But Teppo Temba being Teppo Temba, he's got one of the coolest heads. He was, of course, the Tier 2 champion from last time out, showing absolute class, which he's carried over into Tier 1. Kid K was expecting Titus, Mello, and Bankobi and C-Clay to be fighting it out for the race win, but of course Titus did have that slight lapse in his race start, and he finds himself chasing Bankobi in P5 as things stand. When you mentioned that Mello the Mello has a tendency to overdrive bombs, was that speaking to a tendency maybe to push the tires too hard on an unforgiving track like this?
Exactly that. So Mello also, he has these moments where he's just also able just to find grip in like places that nobody else can, but he'll then keep on trying to find grip in the same places. But what that would do is that it just leads to the tires overheating. And yeah, just leads to a tire drop-off, and he just lands up dropping later in the race.
Yep. Now, Mello the Mello, this man in the Mercedes, has about 9/10. He is fighting. As you can see, he's really pushing that battery. It's at about 30%. He wants to stay within the DRS to take advantage of any slip-ups here from C-Clay potentially, as Bankobi has now snipped and trimmed this gap to about 3/10 and 4/10, give or take. Every time they pass through a corner, it kind of inches back and forth. There's that gap between the Alpine and the Mercedes. This is a battle that we will be watching very, very closely. Meanwhile, this man, Tindo, is in P9 currently on a set of medium tires, and he is absolutely fighting.
Bankobi just bluffed, sending it down on the inside, and Teppo Temba goes wide.
Teppo Temba went wide here, so this battle is heating up. Mind games that Bankobi is playing. He is super competitive. He is no stranger to absolutely putting you under as much pressure as possible. In Tier 1, of course, it's a mixture of trying to make sure you maintain your own pace while contending with people, putting you under immense pressure behind you. And as he plays those mind games, that gap is now about half a second between these two now. Also, he's unforgiving as far as that battery is concerned. You can see it at about 40-odd% worth of battery power. Meanwhile, the gap between P1 and 2 has extended to about a second and a half as we get a virtual safety car slowing the grid down here. And just going to get a sense of how exactly it all looks here as they go on the safety car. Your grid, it is C-Clay in P1, followed by Mello the Mello in second place. Teppo Temba in that Alpine is in P3, as Kid K laments that Titus has picked up some damage. Bankobi is currently in fourth place. by Zozo is in 5th as DRS is enabled once again. Kaboza finds himself in 6th place for that Red Bull, flying that blue flag high. Loveness is currently in 7th on a set of soft tires. M. Fundo in the Aston Martin is 8th. Tindo is 9th. S. Buddha is currently in 10th place. And the rest of the grid, take us through the rest of the grid, Bonds.
And through the rest of the grid, we have Man Ray in P11, D-Wax in P12, his teammate Selby Songo in P13, who's just in the pits. Zotile making up 3 places, or rather making up 4 places as he's now in 13th. Ooh, damage with Pangobi.
Ooh, let us catch up and see exactly what's going on here.
He has no front wing at all.
We saw how many...
He needs to be gentle.
He needs to be gentle. Of course, he was fighting hard, but this is an unforgiving track. We saw so many Tier 3 drivers and Tier 2 drivers surrender, donate their wings to this track here at the Marina Bay Street Circuit. And Bankobi has the fight of his life on his hands to fight his way back into the points here. This is Tier 1. A mistake like this could be costly as far as even gaining points is concerned. So a lot of work, and that places and heaps all the pressure on Mercedes onto Mello the Mello out in P2. But the rest of the grid, Endebo is inching along on these hard tires out in P14. Titus, who has had his fair share of incidents here today, has a hell of a fight on his hands out in P15. Damnesia, Josh is in 16th place. He has really dropped, and Josh has really struggled throughout the past seasons to translate his amazing qualifying times into an advantage as far as race day is concerned as he sets a purple sector 2 bonds.
Yeah, so Damnesia, just like myself, it's all or nothing every single lap.
Oof.
There's no management. It's just pure speed or absolutely nothing. So
manages to get that move done on him double, by the way. Slipping and sliding is Josh really pushing that car as he made that move, got that move done on Ndabo, as you saw a couple of corners ago, and now he is absolutely punching it, sending it, as we see an epic battle taking place between Zotal and Titus a little bit far ahead. These two are scrapping it out as well. Bankobi has us put on a set of medium tires, and just to go through the rest of the grid here in P18 is the 86er, currently on a new set of medium tires, just 2 laps old now. And Selby had an incident as well. Currently, he had Selby is making his way through this first sector, and he is on a set of soft tires. Lungs is in P20. Well, Lungs had a nightmare of a qualifier and has not managed to take advantage of some of the early incidents in this race. Finds himself rock bottom at the very back of the grid. Bonds, I suppose it is commendable that 6 laps out of 31, we've had incidents, we've had lost wings, but all drivers are still on track.
Of course, I mean, the only reason why we're seeing so many incidents on tracks is because these drivers are just going at it hammer and tongs. As I see that Damnesia said purple first sector and about to make an overtake on Zotile.
They go side by side. He's on the outside. And he is in the lead through that corner. Zotal has to concede that position. Josh, Damnesia, looking to work his way back up the grid in anger here. He had such a great start, found himself P3 at some point, and now is in 12th place. He has the fight of his life on his hands to even be among the points runners here as Josh Damnesia through the third sector. He is absolutely fighting to be back among the points finishers here. But with just 7 laps done out of 31, he has a long way to go. Meanwhile, Titus, who's also had his fair share of incidents, has just set a fastest time, as you just saw on your screen there. So he's also has got his work absolutely cut out for him. Bankobi donated his wing to this track here. Can he make it back into the points? Let us know in the comment section. TT is such a stellar driver, says Crash in the comment section. Still a full grid, says Liddy. No DNF, amazing start. He is representing where he comes from. We groomed him well, says Kid K. Presumably was speaking about Teppo Temba, who has had a really great day, but of course, unfortunately finds himself now in P11. But of course, he did have to pit and exchange those soft tires for a set of medium tires, which, well, I suppose the question to you, Bongs, how long can this set of tires go, mediums?
Again, I guess it just all comes down to tire management and the pace that each driver on the medium chooses to run. If they wanted to, they could actually carry a set of mediums from now until the end of the race. However, you will get into trouble within the last 5 laps, as you will start struggling for grip. I mean, the car will be slipping and sliding everywhere. However, just to refer to Crash Mkhize's comment, ladies and gentlemen, about TT being such a stellar driver, I've always said it, that the man is made out of iron. You can't shake him. You cannot even shake him remotely. Like, he never ever folds under any pressure from any driver behind him.
He absolutely does. That is why he was the champion last time out in Tier 2. But right now, let's take a look at how this grid looks. This man, Sihle, opted to start with a set of medium tires and has taken full advantage because most of the drivers who were following him closely at the race start were on a pair of softs. And right now, 7 laps in, he is in the pound seats, 9 seconds ahead of this man, Spy Zozo. As you see, the time penalties start to trickle in. Zotal and D-Wax with 3-second time penalties so far. Kaboza, what a start for him in the Red Bull. A great day. Also opted to start with a set of medium tires and has kept it clean, has kept it absolutely pristine as far as keeping his car intact and not incurring penalties. He finds himself 5.1 seconds behind Spy Zozo in 3rd place. M. Fundo in the Aston Martin is currently in P4. Tindo, who started out in 10th place, has inched his way up to 5th place, also having opted for a set of medium tires at the start of this race. S. Buddha is quietly having a decent day, of course, having had the fight of his life on his hands to qualify. He currently finds himself in 6th place on a set of hard tires, so he can definitely...
he had started in P13.
Yeah. So he can have one of the longest runs or longest first stints on this set of hard compound tires. Mello the Mellow in the Mercedes, the great hope of Mercedes as things currently stand, is in 7th place. Josh Damnesia squandered a golden opportunity earlier, but is now making a pass on Man Ray. Damnesia was languishing out of the points a couple of laps ago, and right now he is absolutely killing it out on track here. Man Ray and Tepo Temba are currently having a battle for that P9 spot, and Tepo Temba, being Tepo Temba, will put you under a heap of pressure before looking to take advantage. Look at him creeping to the left, to the right, looking for an opportunity to take advantage, and he punches that ERS. He has DRS advantage. That rear wing is open, and before the first corner, he gets that move done, does Tepo Temba. Clean racing, not incurring a penalty at all. It is such a difficult track to overtake here and maintain track position. So Seppo Temba really doing well, having come in to exchange those soft tires for a fresh set of medium tires. So we can expect him to be among the drivers in contention, possibly for a fastest lap in this second stint as far as his own tires are concerned. Loveness is now chasing Man Ray, who seems to be struggling out here. He's been really passed in quick succession by Damnesia, Tepo Temba, and now it seems Loveness is going to be the one to take a bite out of that Ferrari. He inches to the left, taking a peek there. Ooh, he comes really, really close. We're on board with Loveness, the silent assassin in that Williams racing car. He goes a little bit wide. He's going to switch into the inside line. He's going to punch that battery. And so does Man Ray. So he does not get that move done as yet, does Loveness. He inches to the left, to the right. He does that. Oh, forces Man Ray to go wide. And does Man Ray lose a wing there? Oh, Man Ray absolutely crashed into that wall under pressure from Loveness. I just want to get a clear sense and see how much damage Man Ray took. And that gap already between these two, about 4 seconds. Wow.
Man
what
Ray
pressure.
Has major damage on that front wing. He definitely lost his front wing end plate.
As Tepo Temba overtakes Damnesia before that final corner, he inches his way. And of course, that Man Ray is slipping and sliding. He took a lot of damage trying to defend from Loveness and now has to come in. And of course, in Tier 1, it is so pivotal. Josh Damnesia, who was doing so well, damaged his wing and finds himself back in the pit lane now. He will lose more and more places. The silent killer, says Sanale Mzansi in the comment section. Sanale, of course, the Superstar AlphaTauri driver for Tier 2. Let's catch up with the comments. Mello is about to struggle with those softs, of course. 10 laps was too much. Of course, that was before Mello pitted, said Luddy. Mello is on a fresh set of medium tires now. He finds himself now in P7 spot. 10 laps of 31!